And good morning, everyone. This is Professor Prashant Birje, and we are dealing with the sixth semester subject Services Marketing. Today, we are beginning with module number one. So, before beginning of this chapter, that is module number one, that is Introduction to Services, we would first like to understand what services are. Students, you might have seen many times that when you purchase products, you get certain services along with it. The guarantee that you get, the repair services, the maintenance, the annual maintenance contracts that you sign are all part of services, the services package. Similarly, there are many other services which are independently marketed. For example, you go to an advocate, you get legal services. You go to a coaching classes or tuition classes, you get coaching services. Similarly, if you go to an automobile repair shop, that is, you purchase an automobile and later on you need maintenance and repairs for that. So you go to a mechanic for that and you get the repair done. So this repair which you get is nothing but services. Similarly, entertainment is also a form of service. So there are many types of services which we keep on purchasing on a daily basis. Just like products, services also need to be marketed. And in this module, we are going to see what are services, we'll understand the basic concepts of services, the definition of services, and then later on, we'll see how services can be designed and how it can be marketed. So, what are services? As per American Marketing Association, it defines services are activities, benefits, and satisfactions which are offered for sale or are provided in connection with sale of goods. So basically, as the definition goes, it says that services are activities, benefits, and satisfactions. That is, these are basically intangible in nature. You cannot carry this home or you cannot preserve this for later use. So these are certain activities that are performed by service providers to the service receivers. And what happens is generally these are sold in connection with certain physical goods. For example, you purchase a washing machine, you get a maintenance, that is free maintenance for 1 year or maybe 2 years. So this service that you provide, that is free installation sometimes at the beginning, similarly free transportation, similarly free repair and maintenance for the next 2 years. So all these services which are attached to a physical product form the services, and marketing of these services comes under services marketing. Sometimes services may not be attached to physical products. So we have one more definition for services. Services are essentially intangible offerings that are offered for sale by one party to the other. So sale is happening of services which are basically intangible in nature. Intangibility is one of the major characteristics of services that separates it from the products, that is physical goods. For example, you purchase an automobile, say you purchase an Activa two wheeler, you purchase a physical good. You can carry the Activa or two wheeler to your home. You can touch, you can feel it, you can ride it, you can sit on it, you can purchase it. Suppose if tomorrow is your birthday, you can purchase it today, so you can purchase it for later use. Suppose if you want to use a two wheeler tomorrow, you can purchase it today and keep it so that you can use it tomorrow. So these are some of the characteristics of physical goods, whereas services are not like that. You cannot touch it. For example, teaching services, legal services, these are invisible, they are intangible in nature. You can only experience them. You can experience them in the sense you can analyze it, good or average or bad. Similarly, we also have other types of services which you regularly keep on purchasing on daily basis. So these are the two normally used definitions of services marketing. So services are basically deeds, performances, and which are essentially intangible in nature. Now, let us see some of the examples of services. We have seen some of the example of services. Along with that, for example, a tennis racket here is a physical good, but the tennis coaching that you receive from a coach, tennis coach, is nothing but a service. Similarly, a mobile phone that you purchase or a television that you purchase are physical goods. The mobile smartphone repair, maintenance, the TV repair that you get from the mechanic is nothing but the service that you are getting. Similarly, an automobile, for example, car, if you purchase, that is a physical product, whereas the service that you get from a mechanic in the car workshop is the service. Remember, services are intangible in nature, and more importantly, you cannot purchase and keep the service for later use. For example, you purchase a brand new car and you know that after some usage you need some maintenance or you may need a repair. So a repair service, you need it maybe 5 years later, 10 years later, 15 years later. Sometimes in the lifespan of the car you may need some kind of services. Now you cannot purchase it ahead itself. For example, you cannot get the service done on the first day of purchase of the car itself, thinking that you may need it later on. It's just like saying that you might have a flat car tire, that is, you may have your tire punctured later on sometimes. So you cannot get the tire puncture removed before it is punctured. So that is the thing, you cannot inventory the service. Similarly, if you go to a cinema theater for entertainment, you get the entertainment at that time itself. These characteristics of services we are going to study in detail in further classes. For the time being, we shall only see that what is the difference between a physical good and a physical and an intangible service. So basic differences between goods and services are like this. The first one, physical good is a that is good is a physical commodity, whereas services are basically intangible in nature and they are processes or activities. So with respect to the tangibility spectrum also, goods are tangible whereas services are essentially intangible in nature. Goods are homogeneous whereas services are heterogeneous. Now what is the meaning of this? Homogeneous goods, that means for example you purchase Surf Excel. Surf Excel is an example of good, a product. Okay, it is a goods, it comes under goods and it is a product. Now half kg or maybe 1 kg packet of Surf Excel you purchase in Mumbai. The same half kg or 1 kg packet you purchase in Delhi after some maybe 6 months. After some 6 months again you purchase similar same packet, same everything in Bangalore, and after some 6 months you may purchase it in Belgaum. So in all these purchases, the type of product that you receive is very standardized, it is homogeneous. That means everywhere wherever you are purchasing you get the product at nearly the same quality, same type. You cannot differentiate between different products, that is a same product purchased at different locations. Whereas when it comes to services, suppose if you want legal services, you go to a advocate. Then if you find that you want a different advocate and you go to a different advocate, then you get different type of services. Whereas in product that does not happen. Like in Surf Excel, you purchase in a Delhi shop, you get the same Surf Excel, or you purchase in a Bangalore shop, you get the same type of product. So they are homogeneous. Goods are homogeneous, whereas services are heterogeneous. Then production and distribution are separation from their consumption. In fact, their spelling mistake, are separated from their consumption. Similarly, whereas services, production, distribution and consumption are simultaneous processes. Now what is the meaning of this? Goods, for example, production and distribution are separated from their consumption. See, goods are produced in the factory, they are distributed through the middlemen, that is the distributors, and then it comes to the retail shop where the final consumers purchase it and consume it at their home or maybe in some other location. So production happens separately, distribution happens at a different time, and consumption also happens at a different time. These three processes, which are basics of marketing, happens at different time. Whereas in services, the production, the distribution, and the consumption, all of these three are simultaneous processes. They happen together. They cannot happen at different times. For example, you go to a saloon, sorry, you go to a saloon and you find out you want to have a haircut, and uh, at that time the production of the service, that is the person who is gonna cut your hair or style your hair, so at that time he starts to give you service, that is production of service. Distribution of service, in this case, because it is only one branch there, we assume that only one branch it is there, so distribution does not happen. But consumption in this case happens at the same time, that is when he is giving you haircut, at that time you will receive the haircut. You cannot say that you start giving me haircut, I'll receive it tomorrow because today I do not have time. So such kind of things cannot happen. So that is why we say that production, distribution and consumption are simultaneous processes in services. When it comes to the inventory thing, goods can be stored, that is inventoried, whereas services cannot be stored, they cannot be inventoried. Transfer of ownership is possible in goods. So what happens when you purchase goods, physical goods, you purchase these goods and transfer of ownership happens quickly. Services, in services, transfer of ownership is not possible. Example for this is, you go to a cinema theater, you purchase a movie ticket and you start watching the movie. Here you are purchasing the entertainment, you do not get the right to purchase the chair on which you are sitting. So this is what is the basic difference between goods and service. That is, in this, transfer of ownership does not happen in services, whereas in goods transfer of ownership happens. For example, if you go to purchase a chair, you purchase the chair and you get the ownership of the chair then and there itself. Whereas when you book a seat in a travels, then at that time the transfer of ownership does not happen. That is, you do not own the seat, you get the right to use the seat for a specific duration of time. So that is the reason why goods and services are different. So these include some of the basic differences between goods and services. I hope you have understood some of the basic differences between goods and services. So before we end today's lecture, one small assignment I would like to give you. On a piece of paper you have to write the different types of services, 10 different types of services that you have experienced in your life, which you have purchased in your life or used in your life. So 10 different types of services. It may be simple service, it may be very complex service, it's up to you. Think of the services that you have come across and note down any 10 services that you have come across. With this we end today's lecture. I hope you have understood today's lecture. If there are any difficulties in understanding, you can always contact us.